Today, Gohan finds himself inside Videl's body.
Prepare yourself, Dan Saiyan.
Today's story comes to us from Dragon Ball Buoy on Twitter. I'm gonna leave a link to their Twitter account in the description below and the top comment. Go ahead, follow the artists, always support the original creator, and the story is called Dragon Ball Your Power. Videl wakes up to find out that she is suffering from a head injury, and as she opens her eyes slowly, she looks to her side and sees that Gohan, his body is lying on the ground, but she doesn't say that it's Gohan's body. She says that it is my body, and then says, oh no, because the realization of the situation she finds herself finally has been thrust upon her. Videl is on the ground, and so is Gohan, completely knocked out, and she does not know exactly what happened, but it seems that they have gotten jumped in the middle of a seedy alleyway. She looks over and sees three shadowy figures, and they realize that she has woken up, but one of them asks, so girl or boy, because he's not exactly sure if the trick actually worked. Videl slowly gets to her feet, and then she realizes that something is wrong, and the dude with the scars says, we did some retouching, hope you like your sexy new look. And that's when he realizes that she's got boobs, and she starts flipping out. No way, it looks like Gohan has been transported into Videl's body, and this was all a scheme by these evildoers, these henchmen, to take her out of the fight. Remember, at this point in time, Pigtail Videl, which is the best version of Videl, she is fighting crime, destroying mob bosses and syndicates, and just being a nuisance, the thorn of the side of the criminal underworld. So at this point in time, they think taking her out of the way is something that is critical. And the boss tells them that they have to take the boy away before the girl wakes up, because Videl is in Gohan's body. And Videl slash Gohan essentially is completely freaking out. And I just love the artwork in this. It is extremely well done, highly praisable. It is just vintage Dragon Ball, specifically from the Buu arc. It just feels like that style with its own little quirky look, and I do love the way that the text actually looks. It looks very much written with hand, but at the same time touched up through the computer, so I definitely like the direction that this Dragon Ball fan manga is actually going.
Put her down!
The kidnapping is about to begin. The dude is strapped and he's about to take Gohan, thinking that it is a nerd who doesn't know how to use Videl's abilities inside Videl's body. Little does he know, Gohan is a supreme martial artist, one that took out Cell, and in Videl's body, I still think that he would be a force to be reckoned with. And the scarred up villain asks, what are they going to do with Videl in Gohan's body? Shall they take her because she may actually get in the way? And the mob boss explains that, yeah, you might as well take care of her because you don't even know what she's capable in that nerd's body to begin with. I mean, she could take Gohan's body, who just seems like a normal high school student, and use it as a martial arts weapon if she remembers all her techniques. But the scarred henchman has other plans because he thinks it is far better just to kill her while she sleeps. That way she will never get in the way. And that is when Gohan strikes the villain dead in the face, pushing him back a few feet to the surprise of everyone. And Gohan says, don't take your eyes off your opponent. He is ready, even in Videl's body, to fight these evildoers from doing any harm to his high school crush, which I can only assume at this point in the story they aren't actually together. Maybe he hasn't even taught her how to fly yet and they are just hanging out, or she is trying to investigate if he is Great Saiyan Man. Although we will find out soon if she does learn how to fly, because if she does, then this is a completely different part of the story. So after Gohan's strike against this fool, it doesn't really do much damage, and even the guy says the kick kind of just caught him off guard. There is no way he is going to lose, so he didn't really see Videl as an opponent, specifically with her having this nerd's mind inside her body. And that's when Gohan says something really interesting. He says, "Damn, I withheld my punch out of habit while I'm not in my body. However, these three are experts. Without printing ki in my attacks, I'm not going to hurt them. What should I do?" So not only did Gohan hold back when he kicked this guy, so he probably could have taken him down if he just kind of pushed a little bit further, but not by much. He realizes that Videl is at a complete disadvantage against these guys because these guys are experts, and when it comes to fighting, you have to imprint ki in your attacks. So there is no ki control in Videl's body at all. And that is the reason that Gohan can't push it beyond its limits. He can't push it any further. And this is really interesting because it's almost very similar to the ideology behind Hunter x Hunter's Nen system, where you kind of encase yourself in Nen, making yourself more powerful, more durable, and stronger. This is exactly what he's saying, and it's really interesting to see it from a Dragon Ball point of view.
自然体が最も天を行いやすいことを教えられずに理解している。慣れれば寝ていても天が使えるようになります。今度は敵意を持って君たちに念を飛ばします。
But the thug finds it amusing that the nerd thinks he can face him one-on-one just because he's got Videl's body. It's not all about the body, it's also about the knowledge and technique and experience inside your mind. So if you don't really know how to use the body, you're gonna lose, and you're not just a fighter because you have it. Similar to what we've seen in Dragon Ball Z, we just saw it with Moro taking on the angel power. His body couldn't handle it, and that's exactly what even this guy is saying right here. But he doesn't really know that Gohan is an expert martial artist. He's not just a nerd in the street next to Videl. But Gohan makes sure to tell this guy who he's fucking with because he knows exactly how to control his body, his mind. He's a mental martial artist, he's a physical martial artist, and he knows how to kick some ass, and you've seen a lot worse dudes than this guy, obviously. The thug's heard enough and he launches an attack at Gohan, with Gohan barely being able to dodge it, but blocking a few blows here and there and delivering a few kicks. But this is turning into a serious martial arts hand-to-hand experience for Gohan because he can't do it much more than that. And since he's not flying, I don't think that he's taught Videl how to fly up to this point. And so he's playing by human rules, by Earthling rules at this moment. And we'll see exactly if he's strong enough in Videl's body to take this guy out. And the thug is no pushover. He's actually pushing Videl / Gohan harder than Gohan thought because he is an expert martial artist, and he even tries to get him off balance by sweeping the legs underneath him, but Gohan is a martial artist himself and he does a backflip to get away. Now another interesting point here. Gohan almost broke Videl's leg with that attack because of the fact that he did not encase it and fortify it with ki. He's not doing that with the limbs because he's not used to this body that doesn't really have ki control. So it looks like Gohan can develop the ki that Videl already has inside of her, similar to the way that Krillin and Yamcha and Tien do it, but at the same time it's not as powerful as you would say with the Saiyan. But still, he is his mind pushing Videl's body beyond its limits to the point that he could possibly hurt her physically and maybe permanently. It's acknowledgement time. This guy acknowledges that Gohan is a Chad and that there was a reason Videl was following him because he's got some moves and he's got some skills. And that is when the mob boss tells the other guy to go help him, take this girl / guy out. But the thug doesn't want any help. The mob boss says different because he knows who the boy is and they need to take every opportunity right now to kill him, to the surprise of the goons. And the mob boss explains the confidence that he's pulling, the way that he's moving, this isn't from the girl's body. Even the mob boss can sense that there is a reservoir of intelligence and knowledge of martial arts inside this mind. And he finally even deduced the reason that these two were together was because Videl was following this boy. Usually she is very suspect and takes a lot of precautions and, you know, is very wary of danger, but in this really dark alley, she's with him because of the fact that she suspects him of being somebody and not for some stupid romance. And the mob boss believes that the boy is the Great Salad Man, something like that. And Gohan's like, it's the Great Saiyan Man. The Great Silent Man, that's this dude right here, just FYI. Gohan tries to play it off very, very badly, saying that, no, I didn't know who that guy was, I just heard it in the newspaper, but everybody can tell at this point that he's lying, and the guy says, listen, I'm not going to take any chances here. He's concentrating his ki while he attacks. If he can fully concentrate all his ki, then we're done for. Gohan tries to get the upper hand here and says that since you know who I am, well, let's just reverse whatever spells switched our bodies to begin with, and everything will be fine. It's not going to take Gohan very long to harmonize the ki inside Videl's body to become a very, very serious threat, which you can destroy these guys very easily because Videl has a lot of potential. And the mob boss ain't letting this slide. He pulls out a gat because he's about to put a cap in Gohan's ass. This is what I was saying at the beginning, guys. Gohan in Videl's body with no proper ki control is not going to be able to take this bullet head on. She may probably be able to dodge it, but I'm very skeptical of it because this is very much point blank range. So if this bullet hits her internal organs, Videl dies, her body dies anyway, and then Gohan dies inside Videl's body. So Gohan's thinking about using the after image technique, but it's not going to work in my opinion. And that's when they hear Son Gohan, and they look over at Gohan's lifeless body just laying there, and it looks like in his sleep, Videl is still chasing Gohan. You will not escape me. Gohan gets a little flustered because like even in her dream, she's chasing him. That's just crazy to think about if you think about it too hard. And now Gohan knows that 100% Videl is in Gohan's body, so he definitely needs both the bodies to remain intact. And this name triggers the mob boss's memory. Let's see where this goes. So Gohan uses the after image technique with Videl and kind of monkeys around the two goons and their boss. Now, can Videl use the after image technique? I believe the after image technique, like looking into it now, I believe that it is something that is learned. So if Gohan already knows how to use it, he may be able to push Videl's body to use it as well. But at the same time, originally I was thinking that it was something that it was inherent to the body, but it looks like Videl can absolutely use it. So yes, Gohan is clowning these fools and gets right behind the mob boss and punches him right in the face as he fires a shot into the sky. Now, hopefully this arouses suspicion in the alleyway as to where the shots are coming from, so more civilians can come and help them out. But if this is already a seedy alleyway, then nobody may come. So with the boss down, Videl has to make quick decisions and block the attacks coming from both of these goons. Remember, these aren't just straight up goons. They are actually trained martial artists who probably were at the same level of Tien, Master Roshi back in the day, minus the key attacks. So Gohan kind of makes quick work of them though, and shows exactly how far his intelligence can push a body that isn't really trained in ki or anything like that, because she's taking these guys out and even breaking this dude's arm. After disabling all of them, Gohan tells them to stop it, stay down, and if they just switch them back to each other's bodies, then he will let them go as long as they drop all the misdeeds that they are about to commit. Essentially, I don't think that they are up for reform. I guess Gohan's trying to go the Goku route, but these guys look like they're seasoned murderers, killers, and mobsters, so I highly doubt there is any reformation for them. But Gohan is, I guess, a little bit tuckered out, and he's sweating a lot because he is pushing Videl's body to its limits, but he warns them that if they keep getting back up, he will have no choice but to break their bones. That way they cannot get back up again. And that's when he looks at the mob boss and realizes that, at least the same thing that I'm realizing, that this is a woman, and this is enough to distract him. Now, does this look like a familiar person? I'm not exactly sure. To me, it looks like a woman, but it could be someone familiar. But Gohan is distracted as one of the henchmen pulls out another gun. Just then, Gohan realizes what's coming up behind him, and he even says, I got distracted for a moment, and he's completely out of... Now, he doesn't complete the sentence, but what I'm thinking, especially with him sweating like this, that he has used up all the ki that Videl has in her body. he has used it all up using the after image technique, so it shows the limitations of the regular normal earthling body when used by a master like Gohan. And so this henchman starts blasting and shooting, and one of the shots hits Gohan right in the back as he bounces away, trying to get over the fence and hide, because another bullet like that in the wrong spot, say the head, and Videl and Gohan are both gone. Now this dude starts talking a whole bunch of shit, and they realize that they have injured Gohan. He is on his last leg, and now it's time to finish him off. But that is when Videl in Gohan's body begins to wake up. As Videl slowly gets up, she hears gunshots, and of course Videl is a crime fighter, so she knows that this is a particularly dangerous situation, but she's gonna just jump right into it, obviously, because she is a crime fighter, and she hears them coming from this alleyway. But then she realizes that she has man-sized hands, and that's when we cut to Gohan, who is struggling to walk down this alleyway or this corridor here, bleeding to death. And as he bleeds very slowly, we get like the saddest, most pitiful look on Videl essentially's face as she is bleeding out, because this is a very serious gunshot wound, and even some little kids notice and recognize her as Videl, seeing her gravely injured. She acknowledges the little kids, but then she begins to spit up and cough up blood, and she even says that it was careless to try to rationalize with them and not end them right away, because now she is dying, and she pleads for forgiveness from Videl, and that is when she is caught. And she looks behind her, and you guys can see that this is significant. She's losing a lot of blood, and he was way too careless with Videl's body. He definitely should not have gone the Goku route of trying to reason with these guys and turn them good, because this has backfired immensely. The kids run down the stairs to try to find somebody to get their attention about what Videl's condition is, breaking into their brother's room, and the brother starts cursing at them. What the hell are you guys doing? And that's when they all look out the window to see that they have Videl dead to rights. Recognizing Videl, but it's too late, and the henchmen start blasting Videl, littering her with bullets, and they are just completely in shock and traumatized. The brother starts covering their eyes. The mom and dad come in, calling the police, and Videl, it looks like Videl / Gohan is dead. This is the outcome of trying to reform every villain because you don't have the guts to do what needs to be done and take them out. Gohan in Videl's body could have easily broken all their arms and their legs and left them there, or even picked up his body, which has Videl in it, and ran off, but he decided to try to reform these guys and let them go, and this is exactly what happens. This is the reason that we all hate the fact that Goku gave Moro a senzu bean, because there are real consequences to these actions. And even though Gohan is here bleeding out saying that he cannot lose, he is essentially almost lost, and he tries to pick himself up a little bit. He tries to get up and lift his head up because he wants to fight these guys and fight the quick and cold grasp of death before it takes him. And these henchmen, they're not here to let that happen. They're surprised that Gohan's even getting up after being shot this many times, but they are willing to do what needs to be done. Gohan has a lot to think about right now because he's even dying in front of children that admire him. And right now, this is honestly one of my favorite scenes, where it looks similar to how in Full Metal Alchemist, this almost seems identical to that. Gohan is sitting there and he's saying, "Don't die, not until I give you your body back, please." So he's using every ounce of determination that Gohan himself has to keep her alive, and he's trying to awaken all her power. Now, what exactly does that mean? I'm not exactly sure, because he's already out of ki when this happened. When he got shot, he was completely done using all her ki. She's just an earthling who hasn't trained, and it's not a Dragon Ball Z Z-Squad body. It is a regular normal body, so I don't know exactly what he's trying to get out of this, but he's trying to push Videl as hard as she can go. Now, even though the two henchmen are surprised, they are willing to unload the rest of their clip inside of Videl to avenge the arm that she broke. And right outside where the family is calling the police right now, they begin to fire mercilessly. And the family inside is trying to keep their little ones from hearing this racket, because this is probably one of the most traumatic moments in their entire lives, because they just witnessed a person they admire the most get shot, and they're hearing her get completely littered with more bullets outside without being able to do anything about it. And the last bullet hits her right in the head, and she is not lost. Okay, so Gohan has awakened all the hidden ki inside of Videl's body and has encased her in what I can only describe as a ki blanket. Again, the same properties that Nen has, it seems like he has as well. She covered herself in it, has hardened herself from the bullets, and has pushed Videl's body beyond what it could go, maybe even stopping some of the bleeding in the internal organs, because she was shot a million times. But even though she has been covered with the ki, it looks like that last bullet still did some damage. It looks like all of them kind of did some damage to her body, because, I mean, she's not a Saiyan or anything, she's just an Earthling, so it looks like it still made a dent, but it's not fatal. They continue firing, but they do not know or are ready for Videl, who has woken up in Gohan's body, charging at these guys with full power. Now, before we continue, yes, this is Gohan, and yes, this is Videl using Gohan's body without any training whatsoever. So I'm ready to see these guys just explode when they get hit by one fist, because she's not going to be able to regulate or control the amount of power that she's going to be dishing out with these fists. But it is too late for this guy, and he gets an elbow right into his face and goes flying into the bushes. And Gohan, even at this stage, is saying, don't go too hard on them. Bro, they almost killed ruthlessly Videl's body in front of an entire family of fans. Like, this is the main thing I don't like about the Goku family, is that they try to be benevolent like this when these guys don't deserve it, and these guys absolutely don't deserve it. And the other henchman is surprised and says Lady Pi didn't finish her off, so now we know who the mob boss's name is, Lady Pi. But no, she did not. And so Gohan takes one of the henchmen out completely. It looks like he's dead, honestly, and the remainder keep shooting at him, but of course Gohan is way faster than any of the bullets, and he's gotten right in front of Videl to block her from any more attacks. All this just shows how ruthless and how great of a fighter Videl naturally is. Like, you see all these attacks, honestly they don't look like Gohan attacking, it looks like Videl attacking in this sort of way, like almost like this Catwoman style way, where she's just bouncing all over the place, still not ready to take their opponent head on, but she's trying to go for the weak spots. In this case, she charges the bigger dude head on, kicks the gun out of his hand, I'm assuming breaking his arm, and then going for his head. And the dude, this is the equivalent, bro, this is the equivalent of the death punch, because she ends up kicking him in the head. And yeah, I think that this dude is dead. I think his head probably like ripped off his shoulders and when flying like broke through that family's window, and like that's all they saw, like the last thing they saw to traumatize them even more. I guarantee that's what ended up happening, because after that we get a panel of black, and it looks like Videl / Gohan kind of lost a little bit of conscience there, and Gohan as Videl is saying, please answer me, are you there, Gohan, and is that really you? And Videl looks up weakly, she's bleeding to death. I still don't think she's gonna make it, because she's not even surrounded by the ki anymore, so that could have been the rest of what she had. Not only did she get shot once, she got shot like 3 different times, once in the head, and yeah, I don't think that Videl is gonna make it out of this one / Gohan.
Time to end this. Now!
The family that witnessed the atrocity that happened with Videl is coming out of their house asking if it's all over yet, and they hear Gohan yell, please someone help, we need a first aid kit now. And they are essentially the ones that are going to respond to this. They seem to be the only civilians nearby that actually seen what happened, and we see that Gohan, who is Videl, is trying to use Videl's shirt, ripping it up to plug up the holes and the wounds that were left by all those bullets. And Videl is now taking responsibility to what happened to Gohan, saying that it is all her fault, saying that she got Gohan involved in her day-to-day life, and now their bodies got switched, and Gohan in Videl's body is dying. And so this gives us a hint as to what was going on before we saw this story play through from the moment their bodies were switched. And it looks like maybe Gohan was with Videl, like going on a mission of some kind, maybe protecting the streets, walking around patrolling or something like that while they were just talking. Maybe she was escorting Gohan around because she thinks he's the great Saiyaman and that put him in harm's way. Not exactly sure what Videl is saying here, but the outcome is clear, and Gohan and Videl's body is dying. Videl continues to take responsibility for the situation that has played itself, and he/she is going to fight as hard as she can to get them back into their bodies, even offering a promise to Videl. And that's when this doofus comes out here with a first aid kit, which is 100% appreciated, but then says this stupid shit, is she better? And I just have to go back to the previous panel. Like, she was literally gunned down almost at point blank range by two madmen with pistols. Like, she is not doing very well, and even Gohan, who is Videl, is giving him that look. They bandage up Videl and they keep her warm in this huge blanket because her body is quite literally frozen, and they need to hurry up and get help there because she may not have much longer to live. Honestly, it feels like Gohan should have died a long time ago. I mean, if this was just Videl in a normal situation getting gunned down like this, she probably would have died a long time ago, but maybe Gohan being in that body, using all the resources that body has to its limit, pushing that body to its limit, maybe that is keeping her alive. Maybe that's clogging up holes so that way she doesn't bleed out to death, and she is essentially at death's door with a crowd now coming around seeing exactly what's going on. Even little girl coming out asking if Videl still hurts, and Videl is trying to keep a sense of normalcy here and trying to make sure the little girl doesn't freak out by saying, don't worry, she'll be fine, even though she's got no idea if her body is going to survive this. And that is when Gohan starts talking and reaching out for Videl, saying Videl, and Gohan's like, Gohan, what's the matter? Spitting up blood, he starts saying, have you, and even the guy that helped out earlier, he's kind of doing the right thing and saying, hey, why are you even trying to get up? You need to rest and lay down. Stop exerting so much energy, showcasing how much energy and how much of that will to not die Gohan is using here from Videl's body. And he says, have you seen a woman in black dressed in the style of the southern regions? That's exactly what that woman was dressed like Eastern style Egyptian clothing. And so he's trying to give Videl a description in case he dies, and then Videl can go and hunt this guy down and figure out how to switch the bodies. Honestly, they could probably just get the Dragon Balls and switch their bodies, but if Videl goes back into her own body, she more than likely will die. So right now, in my opinion, it's not the best time to switch bodies. They need to get Videl all healed up, or Videl's body all healed up. Videl didn't see anything, but she's thinking it would be the Shishu. Now, down here, I love it when they have a little bit more of an explanation in mangas and the comic books. Down here it says the Shishu, mafia hailing from the southern eastern regions of the Earth Kingdom. Earth Kingdom, okay. And so, obviously, they're trying to add a little bit more lore to Dragon Ball by making little mafia sects and stuff like that. I mean, we've seen that in Dragon Ball Super, and Dragon Ball Z, and in Dragon Ball. Little mafias, little gangs, things like that. So, I'm definitely a fan of that. But it looks like Gohan is trying to give Videl an idea of who killed her or who switched their bodies. And Videl, who is already dealing with gangs and mafias, she kind of already knows what he's talking about. And that's when they hear the police yell, put your hands up, and you see an entire SWAT battalion coming down. They're called the SDU, which stands for Satan City Special Duties Unit, which is kind of really kind of cool, honestly. Yeah, and so they put their hands up, of course. They don't want to get shot. They don't really know. The police have no idea. They're coming into the situation blind, have no idea what's going on. All they heard was a ton of gunshots. The bad guys are still there. Videl is bleeding out on the floor. There's civilians nearby. They need to come in and make sure everybody is safe. Gohan gives Videl a little bit more information, saying that she was holding a strange bottle, make sure you find it. And of course, Videl's like, make sure you rest, calm down. And that's when we cut to the police, and they're securing the area. They have found Videl in critical condition. They have found that there are children, they're unharmed, there are villains there, and they're knocked out. And there is a young man there, which is Gohan, but Videl, that has bandaged up Videl and make sure that she is okay. So they're securing the area, they're securing their scene, and you see that there is chaos in the city right now because of what happened to Videl. And I would assume that if Videl does pass away, it'd be like losing a national hero, kind of, because she is Mr. Saiyan's daughter. I can only imagine what Hercule, seeing Videl in this condition, would be going through. I mean, we saw how he was when Spopovich beat the shit out of her, so yeah, he'd probably be in that same mode, but much, much worse, because these are bullet holes. And we see here a shot of the woman with the bottle. I didn't see the bottle earlier, maybe I wasn't paying attention, but she does have the bottle here, and this seems to be the reason why their bodies got switched. We end off with a beautiful shot of Mount Paozu, and this is obviously Gohan / Goten and Goku's home with Chi-Chi. We see their home, everything in this shot. Honestly, this is my favorite panel right here, because this is just some wonderful, beautiful detail in the shrubbery, in the mountains, in the trees. Everything looks like it's supposed to. It looks amazing, and it is cold. Chi-Chi has come back with some firewood, and they were waiting for Gohan to get home, but Goten remarks that Gohan usually doesn't take this long to get back, and this is the most recent panel that we have. This is going to be Blackscape signing off. Take care, guys.
Subscribe for more content.